In with the ongoing MAGA meltdown and Donald Trump truly having the problem with his base that some said he would never have over anything. Well, here it is. And Trump is flailing and failing, really, to quiet the Epstein story. MAGA, pundits, influencers, Fox veterans, people with large followings are revolting. They are not going along with Trump's demands that something he and his allies pumped and fed forever should suddenly go away because it's inconvenient for them. Now both Trump and Mike Johnson are throwing this hot potato, though, and trying to get it back on the desk of the Attorney General.
It's going to be up to her. Whatever she thinks is credible, she should release.
I'm for transparency. We should put everything out there and let the people decide. She needs to come forward and explain that to everybody.
You can see the talking point forming as if this is all only up to an Attorney General. And she did stoke interest in this. But Donald Trump himself long claimed that he would release this. And given the other controversial ways he's reached into the DOJ to get things done, obviously he could order more evidence out right now. He's not doing that. He's blaming his own employee. She now has been forced to speak out.
Today, our memo speaks for itself, and we'll get back to you on anything else.
We'll get back to you. That may not do it for the MAGA fury. House Republicans, meanwhile, have been dragged into looking like they're defending the lack of transparency because Democrats did jump on this issue and pushed forward an idea where Congress would try to get involved in having more released, and Republicans blocked that.
The amendment is not agreed to, and I think most of us believe what's appropriate will be released when it is time for the president to release it.
You'll notice even the Republicans in Congress are aware it's up to President Trump to make this call, not just his AG. But his AG is overseeing this effort, which is poorly timed, at least for the Fuhrer facing the White House, because this is, of course, one of the key co-conspirators, Jeffrey Epstein confidant, Ghislaine Maxwell. She's already been convicted. She's in prison. But the DOJ is trying to get the Supreme Court to reject hearing an appeal of her case, which, of course, could involve other information or disclosure. So, again, the DOJ, while it's common for them to defend their convictions and not want another layer of review, this also runs right into Trump's big problem. The MAGA anger is only getting louder.
We're all on stage demanding the release of the Epstein client list.
Either Pam Bondi is royally screwed up. I mean, she has. That's not in dispute. She's royally screwed up. And the president is just forgiving her.
Pam Bondi needs to go at a minimum.
It is Trump and it is his advisors that have gone with this narrative of him just saying, forget about it, move along.
She's lying either way.
This is the number one motivating issue for the base.
There is something there, and it's being covered up, and the president blessed it.
If that base feels like you're betraying them or not telling them the truth, then they're not going to like that.
We are not falling to Jedi mind tricks and gaslighting.
That's just a sampling of a heck of a lot of people who've suddenly decided that while they've long supported Donald Trump and defended almost everything he's said and done in public, suddenly now they're concerned that Donald Trump is lying. They don't like that the government doesn't seem accountable, and they certainly don't appreciate and aren't responding to Trump telling them to just be quiet. Now, that is part of where this anger is going. We're also seeing how bothered Trump is because we've talked before about his approach to PR and reaching out online and digitally because the world of politics has continued to change as the world's communication structure changes. Well, there's reports that he personally reached out to Charlie Kirk, trying to quiet the criticism. Now, this podcaster says he's done talking about Epstein because of the call.
Honestly, I'm done talking about Epstein for the time being.
As conservative influencers were eating their own about Epstein.
Even though there are unanswered questions about Epstein, it is, in fact, time to move on.
I'm going to trust my friends in the government to do what needs to be done, solve it, balls in their hands.
Just trust the government, even when they tell you the conspiracy theory that they were long going to crack and solve is now something they're just going to defend and tell you to look the other way on. So you can see just some of how this is playing out in real time. As for the quieting of the story, Fox News is changing gears. You can see the comparison here, playing up outdated old sort of Biden references rather than the current Epstein controversy or the new Trump DOJ memo. In the larger culture, the story has stuck. Take a look.
can't take this away from your base. That is MAGA's favorite conspiracy. What are we going to find out next? That immigrants aren't eating cats?
Trump brings up Hunter Biden's laptop as a reminder for all of us not to dwell on old conspiracy theories.
Also, are we really to believe anyone in the world could have the Epstein file on their desk and not immediately take a peek? I mean, who has that kind of restraint? Here's the list of everyone who went to Epstein Island. Well, sadly, it's 5 p.m., so...
The jokes land because everyone's heard about this. The hypocrisy sticks because even your favorite MAGA friend or uncle or old colleague who's pure MAGA has heard what I just mentioned. There is the view of the broken vow. We can play it for you coming up tonight. Donald Trump saying he would do exactly the opposite of what he's now doing. There's the concern that he's lying, which we've seen on many issues, but on this one, MAGA seems to care. And there's the larger question of what happens if you pop the bubble and realize there is an external reality and that there are broken vows and that the government, even if you're very conservative and like some other parts of this administration's agenda, the government is to be held to account in this country, for we are a democracy with accountability, a nation of laws and a free press. Shout out to all the podcasters speaking their mind under the protection and power of the First Amendment, something this administration has also challenged when it finds disagreement. So is there a larger breakthrough here?
So I think it's interesting that clip you just played about Lara Trump, because Lara Trump, there's a lot of talk that she wants to run for the Senate in North Carolina. Remember, Donald Trump isn't running for re-election again, but Lara Trump is. So you see the way she's dealing with this story, saying more will be revealed. You know, there'll definitely be more. And what we see is this is her way of trying to spin this. I mean, look, I would say it's this. Trump said, you know, if you elect me, I will bring down the deep state, right? There was a lot of the MAGA universe kept saying, you know, we will show all of the mysteries that the deep state is hiding from you. Remember, it's going to put out the JFK, JFK assassination stuff. There was a lot of buildup to sort of, and now they are the deep state. Right? They are in control of all of the levers.
They caught the car, they criticized the man, quote unquote, and they are the man.
Right. And now they're saying there's nothing to see here. It's very hard for me to see how the base lets go of this when they have worked so hard to stoke these very same things now that they're saying they should forget about.
Yeah, and Maya, just to remind folks, I'm going to show some of the times Trump made these type of vows last year.
Would you declassify the Epstein files?
Yeah, I would.
All right.
I guess I would. I think that less so because, you know, you don't know. You don't want to affect people's lives if it's phony stuff in there, because there's a lot of phony stuff with that whole world. But I think I would.
So if you were able to, you'll be...
Yeah, I'd certainly take a look at it. I'd be inclined to do the Epstein. I'd have no problem with it.
Well, look, we have a current sitting president who ran on conspiracy theories, appointed people who spent all their time creating and stoking conspiracy theories, including Kash Patel, including Bondi, including lying about the 2020 election. And now their conspiracy theories are coming home to roost. They're paying the price for lying to folks, for making claims. For Donald Trump, I think what we saw him doing there, we saw him do throughout the election cycle, which said, I will tell you what I think you want to hear. I will not stop lying. I will not stop saying whatever serves my viewpoints, and then I will shift if it benefits me to shift. And look, this is the non-transparency administration. This is the administration that says, don't believe your lying eyes, and we're not going to actually tell you the truth. We're pulling data off our websites. We're actually making sure we can spin whatever story we want and never be accountable to you. By the way, we will flood the zone with federal agents, ICE. We will put them in masks, and we will have them refuse to even identify who they are. But no, we're the transparency administration. We're going to get the deep state. No, Molly is right. This is the deep state. They've shown it in so many ways, and their refusal to be transparent is exactly what is coming home to roost.
Yeah. And there's a psychology to this, and we don't want to do the thing of taking millions of people and saying they all have the same motivation, but political scientists study this. Paranoid style in American politics, pre-internet emphasis on the political potency of conspiracy theories, particularly when they dovetail with a wider kind of extreme rabbit or messianic view of things. The problem for a lot of Trump followers is they've had to spend a lot of time minimizing everything from him saying on tape that he would grab people without consent, to other allegations that you can debate because they were litigated but were not easy to swallow when you look at how much evidence there was. How do you square that? And I want to read from a New York Times essay by Michelle Goldberg, brand new, and she notes that the fantasy of Trump for them as this warrior against sex trafficking, which is part of the deep state idea that you guys mentioned, is a way for followers to manage cognitive dissonance about his personal degeneracy, is how Michelle Goldberg puts it, to believe that they are on the side of light. While championing a man of such low character, Trump's acolytes have had to conjure an enemy of vast, titanic evil. This is the conspiracy that goes beyond, of course, Epstein's proven horrors, but the idea that there's entire governments and secret cabals behind it. She continues, quote, among those on the right who believe there's an Epstein cover-up, few seem to be entertaining the idea that Trump is protecting himself. That would require a reevaluation of his integrity and their own judgment. But they still take for granted that Epstein was trafficking girls to powerful men and then blackmailing those men, that he was killed so he couldn't talk. That hasn't been proven. There's just questions about that. And she continues, quote, now they have to figure out why Trump won't give them the information they long for. Maya?
Well, 26 women who had credible claims against Donald Trump. I say that because this will be the big test